You have now entered into the golden river of the Helicon, for my flame has carried you up on illumination's current of light, so that you might enter the stream of the consciousness of God, to have imparted to you those elements of God consciousness that allow you to chart your course according to the will of God, to have the wisdom of God, to carry you along the way to your destiny of victory, and to love life and all that is in life imbued by God, so that the beauty of God may always surround you. I am Lord Lanto, Chohan of Illumination's ray. I impart the consciousness of wisdom to the sons and daughters of God, so that they can know first who they are, then act upon that as they internalize the flame of God. The threefold flame of the heart speaks to your every endeavor in life, if you allow the heart to be open. So many go through life locked away in the recesses and the depths of the mind and the workings of the intellect, never knowing illumination and the heart's flame imparting to that mind all of the golden light of the sun that would bring newness of life, expressions of God identity in every pattern and detail imparted to each of the spiritual centers of your being, so that you might create, precipitate, manifest more of the golden light of the sun that is to shine upon all of the sons and daughters of God. This golden sun, bathing the consciousness, brings about the golden age culture and the divine mother light, that each one may revel in as they fulfill their fiery destiny. For some time you have known my flame as merely the Chohan of the second ray of illumination. You have likewise understood that I stand fully engaged in my consciousness upon the youth and the children of the world, that they may have imparted to them the divine culture and education of their true identity. What many may not be aware is that I once lived in embodiment upon the earth in a time where there was such a divine culture that many have even referred to it as one of the golden ages. In my consciousness is the understanding of the education that is required of each of your vehicles of consciousness, so that you might have such a divine life, where all about you you see the glories of God, the wonder of creation, the magnificence of the divine Mother Light, bringing into manifestation the purity, the beauty, the wealth of the abundance of God. When your consciousness becomes so trained, even in this very hour, you can begin to live that golden age. And indeed, this is how it begins. For if you do not have the vibration required to anchor the fire of your own God consciousness into these outer vehicles, how will you pass on a torch of light to the next generation? How will they be taught? What will be the example you set? Will you have internalized all that has been imparted to you in your mind? Moving into the charge of light of the emotional body, forming and fashioning new creation by your hands, and endeavoring to live a life that allows for the descent of the golden river into the midst of your world. This, blessed hearts, is such a great opportunity. For if there are enough sons and daughters of God willing to awaken to the Christ consciousness, imbued with their own causal body momentums of victory, you will realize a golden age before you know it. Do you suppose that 200 years ago it would have been possible to reveal this teaching en masse, where many life streams could hear this instruction? What would have been the consequences? Would there have been enough tolerance in the land? Enough honor and respect of another's right, of the free expression of God in their life? Would there have been the ability to speak out, teaching others, just as our anointed representatives do this very day, carrying over the airways into the home, into the institutions, into the sanctuaries, the illumination upon cosmic law. Do you suppose that you could gather together, raising the banner high and proclaiming the I am anchored in your life? Or would you have been required to hide away that nature of light burning upon the altar of your heart? Would you have had to speak in a soft voice, barely audible, so that you would not be overheard by some opposing your belief? Do you suppose the consciousness of mankind would have been ready, open, and receptive to our instruction? Or was there still a need for transmutation? Was there a cycle of life required, going through many hard times, so that when those very same life streams embodied once more, they would recognize the co-measurement, if not in their outer consciousness immediately, most assuredly within the heart? For yes, the threefold flame of the heart knows what is the vibration of the Holy Christ presence, what can stand in the light of God, and what is required of these vehicles of consciousness that you wear as mind, emotion, the physical, to become the Christ. Every divine culture of the mother flame that has drawn forth the current of wisdom as a golden elixir poured into the outer consciousness has known a day in the sun of peace, harmony, well-being, abundance, happiness, and joy. Many of you are already experiencing such a life, but some are yet to discover how to educate their vehicles to act as one unified action of the flame of God, giving sway to the mind of God, and being ready to act upon that illumination immediately when it is conveyed to do so. All this occurs when there is a balanced flow of the threefold action of the heart, working in concert with the causal body. This allows for the transfer of the wisdom and talent, the wherewithal of the many victories you have already established as a momentum, so that you might call upon those divine momentums of God good, instead of grappling about in the human arena of unreality to find yourself. Is that not what most are striving to accomplish? They try on many suits of armor, many suits of clothing, many suits of profession, many relationships, all to somehow find that completeness of life, not quite knowing what is the real life stream, what is speaking to them, what is prompting them in a particular direction. You have come to the Ascended Master teachings to know just that. Who are you? Many have realized in their outer consciousness that they are the mighty I Am Presence. But has that been internalized so that you act upon that understanding of the consciousness of God? There is flowing through you enough of the light of God to bring about those creative endeavors of thought, feeling, and action that impart the purity of that nature of your God presence. This is why all who serve upon the flame of wisdom and chart the course of the education of the divine mind of God into mankind's consciousness will be releasing more of the tangible action of the golden river of the Helicon during the conclave of the harvest cycle, so that you might begin to reap the pure consciousness of your own God presence, weighing into your life as illumination, God direction, and divine intercession, so that you might maintain the divine course for your life and mission. When you study the blue flame of the will of God and recognize how that will of God is so divinely perfect for you, for it is tailor-made for your life stream. And when you become so imbued with the love of God that you want no other love save the constant flow of that love coming to you and from you to God. And when you desire illumination's flame coursing through the crown chakra of your being, opening the 1,000-petaled lotus so that you might partake of the divine consciousness of the mind of God at every turn. Then you, blessed hearts, will know all of the rays divinely imbuing life from the heart of God, coursing through as a golden age of life lived as the ascendant masters would live, establishing here in the physical octaves a realm that so emulates the etheric retreats that you are sure that you have already raised your vibration sufficiently to live in those retreats for the remainder of your incarnation. Yes, blessed hearts, all this can be accomplished by each one of you if you will but become the threefold flame of the Christ consciousness, radiating that light and allowing for the golden river of the Helicon to be in an action of continual flow into your crown. Then the pressure of light that you receive will assist you in your disciplines, for you will be constantly reminded of how precious is this golden elixir that comes so easily to you when your vehicles are prepared, when you guard your consciousness from intrusion of unreality and negativity, when you breathe in the pranic breaths and establish the flow of your own virtues of the Christ bathed in the God qualities of the rays from your own God presence. These are some of the meditations that you should be constantly engaged. For when you know the light of God, when you become the fullness of all of the rays of God consciousness as emanating from your own electronic body, fashioned into this life where you are right now, as the virtues of the secret ray action, established as the patterns of identity of your life, you will know the golden age, and you will leave for all generations to come upon the earth the record of how one overcomes any sense of limitation and moves into the consciousness of the light of God. I am Lord Lanto, and I bathe you in all of the colors of the threefold flame of my heart, as it moves out to encompass the earth. I will be with you throughout this coming cycle of the golden light imparted from the sun. Let the golden river enter into your life here and now.